Good day, and welcome to another edition of the Military and Foreign Affairs Network. I'm your host, the voice of reason. In today's episode, I'm going to take a more in-depth look at the situation that is going on inside of the region of Tigray, and specifically the recent offensive action by the Tigrayan Defense Forces in their efforts to regain control over their region. So first and foremost, there's been talk of a military advance by the Tigrayan Defense Forces on the city of Mekele, the capital city of the Tigray region. You can see it there on my map. From what I'm hearing, the ability to launch an offensive against the capital city of Mekele is present. The capability is there to conduct operation against the city of Mekele. Now the challenge with this is what the Ethiopian army, the Eritrean army, and more importantly, the Amhara militias are threatening to do if there is an advance on the city of Mekele by the Tigrayan Defense Forces. So what we are hearing is that heavy artillery, howitzers, and even some main battle tanks have been positioned on the hills overlooking the city of Mekele. And the Ethiopian army, allegedly some battalion commanders and even higher than that, are threatening to launch an artillery strike against the city of Mekele if the Tigrayan Defense Forces were to advance on the city. So what we've seen is in preparation for a defensive operation of the city, the Ethiopian army has positioned artillery pieces on strategic hills overlooking and mountains overlooking the city of Mekele. Many of these artillery pieces are actually facing towards the city of Mekele as opposed towards the axis of advance where they believe the Tigrayan Defense Forces would move on the city of Mekele. And that is a big concern because the Ethiopian army would have the capability to shell the city and cause significant civilian casualties. And at the same time, in theory, they could then blame those attacks on the TDF. And that's kind of the situation right now. That is what is causing a pause in terms of a rapid advance on the city of Mekele by the Tigrayan Defense Forces. It is the fear that the Ethiopian army will start to shell the city of Mekele from these mountainous overlooks. And we also believe, obviously, that the Ethiopian Air Force could also take punitive action against the city of Mekele as well, in terms of actually bombing the city. So that is the big threat for the city of Mekele and what it may be preventing a rapid advance of the Tigrayan Defense Forces. Another issue is at hand is obviously the mobility in terms of the mechanization of the Tigrayan Defense Forces. A lot of the trucks and vehicles that the TDF are using were actually captured from the Ethiopian army, and it may not be in great enough quantities to transport huge amounts of forces as well. So there's kind of two different issues at hand, but the real issue is the threat of the Ethiopian artillery launching attacks on the city of Mekele in a punitive fashion. But the fighting continues. We believe that Wicro is under the control of the TDF, as is Agula. Routes of advance going from the north to the south into Mekele or have been eliminated. The Ethiopian army, Eritrean army cannot move south into Mekele. There is also very good reason to believe that the Ethiopian army cannot move north of Alamata towards Mekele as well, that any forces that would move from Alamata north could be facing very serious attacks from the Tigrayan Defense Forces. In fact, the city of Alamata could also be a target very, very soon as we speak. Still not a lot of activity from the Eritrean army. They seem to be hunkered down, kind of watching what is going on, not taking an overly active role in the current fighting, and I think that is just Isaias Afwerki playing his hand. Again, a weak Ethiopia benefits the state of Eritrea, the despotic or authoritarian state of Eritrea. But I would suspect that we could see moves by the Tigrayan Defense Forces at some point to secure that northern flank, the northern flank of the Tigray region, to prevent forces of the Eritrean army coming out of Eritrea would be something that would be need to happen in order to fully secure the Tigray region. And I would also suspect that eventually a punitive operation by the TDF, the Tigrayan Defense Forces, would also need to occur against the Amhara region, and thus bringing the Ethiopian army, the Ethiopian state, to the negotiating table in order to see an exodus of the Ethiopian army completely withdrawn from the Tigray region, which we would then, of course, see a new state being formed, which would be the fully autonomous and independent Republic of Tigray, or whatever name would the new state would adopt. But I fully suspect that we will soon, well, maybe not soon, but in the foreseeable future, we will see a fully independent state of Tigray, and then obviously there is going to have to be something is going to have to be done with the state of Eritrea, the despotic state of Eritrea at some point, and that reckoning will, I assume, will happen in due course as well. But we will continue to watch the operation as it unfolds, continue to watch events in and around Mekele and other areas as well. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.